Hey guys, today is Friday, May 18th, and yep, I am 2 days late with this. On Wednesday mornings, we always have our staff meeting, and then we go out and tour all of our new listings that Coldwell Banker has listed. And it takes, the whole morning, and then Wednesday afternoon, that evening, yesterday, they were chock full of appointments and events. So nonetheless, here I am, better late than never, as I like to believe. Basically, today's update, we'll talk about some numbers and then a quick FYI that may help save you homeowners some money. So the numbers. When we look at the number of properties still out there awaiting buyers, the inventory is up 11%. Last year we had 439 properties on the market waiting to be purchased. This year we have 488 properties. The number of signed contracts, the buyers intending to purchase and close, that is down 15%. So last year we would have had 233 contracts signed in escrow, going through the process to close. This year we have 202, and this is for the MLS as a whole. When we look at the number of contracts that actually have moved from being signed in escrow to actually closed, ownership has transferred, that is down about 8.5%. I know that as I've given these numbers week after week, there has not been a significant change in those numbers. But as we were talking at staff meeting on Wednesday, this has been the trend for at least 18 months now. I know back in 2015, we were averaging 2 months supply, give or take. Well, we're now averaging the market as a whole over 6 months supply. So, we went from number 2 to 6. So you look at that number, and I could go into, how that all plays out. But basically, inventory, the month supply has tripled from a couple years ago. So we know our market is definitely shifting. It's correcting itself depending on what side of the table you're on. As an agent, I'm seeing sellers have to pay a higher amount of closing costs than they used to. It used to be, $2,000, $2,500 was kind of a max amount. Now I'm seeing $4,000, $5,000 in order to, seal the deal. So we know the market is definitely shifting. When I mentioned the number 2, that number means it's a very, very strong seller's market. The number 6 means it's a balanced market. We've left the seller's market. We are balanced. And if we push beyond 6, then we are definitely in that buyer's market. So there's kind of that spectrum for you guys. And that's what we've just been seeing over the course of these 18 months, 24 months, give or take. So, quick money-saving FYI for you property owners. And I'm going to come at this from the perspective of being within Manhattan city limits. So this time of year, especially this year of all years, we had a really cold spring. Things really weren't growing. Well, we finally had some rain, some warmth, and sunshine. Now things are growing. Had a couple instances this week of getting ready to close. The yards were, the grass was as high as my knee, if not higher. Needed to get that yard mowed. In Manhattan, we have an ordinance with certain requirements, but if your grass gets over a certain height, what happens is the city will send you a notice, and they will give you a certain amount of time for getting that grass mowed. If you don't mow it within that time frame, the city will send their mowing crew out. They will mow the yard, and then they send you a bill for it. It's not cheap. It's not the what you would pay just a standard crew. There's a lot of extra cost involved. If they mow your yard because you didn't comply with that notice, they can come back and mow anytime within the next 12 months if your grass, gets taller than the allowed height. So, we always tell our sellers, especially if your house is vacant and you're not around, make sure you have someone who is scheduled on a consistent basis to come out and mow, because if you have that first notice, you don't get it done in time, they come out and mow, within the next 12 months, the city could continue to come out and mow if your yard is out of control. And that gets very expensive. So I am happy that our city stays on top of it, because we know with like the overgrown grass, you have a lot of issues with snakes and insects and rodents and stuff, and it can create a lot of issues within a neighborhood when a yard is out of control. So that our city stays on top of it. It's great for health and safety, but it can be costly for a homeowner if they're not paying attention. So that is your money saving FYI for the day. So hope you guys have a great weekend. I know there's a lot happening in town, and I will see you next week. Bye-bye.